Hey everyone, we are live for the very first High Vibin show with Ray and Laura. Yay!
Yay! Share it out, friends. I'm sharing it out. Share it out.
Share it out. Share it out. Share it out. So we've got lots to talk about today, and we're super excited about everything that's going on and the energy happening in our lives. And we thought we would come on a show and develop it and see how it grows and how it serves to raise your vibes and get you going for your day. So
we also just super love our vibe together. So that's why we actually just love ourselves so much that we wanted to share ourselves with you. No, we find that when we get together and talk, whether it's intellectually or about energy, or whether either of us are a hot mess and we're upset about something or whatever it happens to be, that our vibe together is just like out of control. I mean, just the level that we feed off of each other, and that we not only expand our vibe, but also just get deeper insights. Something about our combo with our energy fields that just is a catalyst for change. So that having because we can share some of our wisdom with you, some of that energy with you, and be able to maybe field some of your questions that you might have about energy or spirituality.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All
right, so
go ahead. You want to introduce, friend? Go ahead. Say who you are.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so my name is Raelin Saindon, and I am owner and practitioner of the healing space. And I have been in the realm of energy work and spiritual entrepreneurship, which we call spiritpreneur, for about, I want to say about 7-8 years now, when I was first attuned to Reiki. And I since have been able to and been blessed to continue in my education with several different modalities, Reiki, quantum healing, Ho'oponopono. I am a graduate of Hypnosis Motivation Institute out of California. Love hypnosis. I do past life regression, etc. So I am excited to be here, excited to serve, and super excited when you and I get together.
Yes, always.
Yes.
So my name is Laura Mazzotta. I am an Akashic guide and a Reiki practitioner. I am the owner of Emerge Healing and Wellness. I have also been a therapist for 15 years in private practice. And I started this journey for personal development, well, when I was like 7. But recently with the energy and the spiritual work, just for the past few years since I got sick, and I've been working on alternative modalities for how to help my physical body and center myself and my mindset and my energy field. And so I work with Reiki, past life regressions, the Akashic records primarily, do some inner child work, a lot of written narrative work. So I kind of merge that into my current practice and do some of the energy work on the side. So that's where we are, my friend.
That's where we are. I'm just putting our page moniker.
Share my birth.
Oh, Rachel's watching. Ashley's watching. Donna's watching. Hello, you guys. Thank you for joining us. Share your comments below.
I don't know who.
I think it was you. I don't know. So, guys, we apologize. I think we're both having technological issues here, and we are trying to work through it and hoping to keep things as stable as we can. So Ashley says hello. Hello, Ashley.
Hello, and Rachel's here. Hi, Rachel.
Yes. Hey, Rach.
Thanks for joining us, friends.
Yes.
So I was thinking I could dive into my bird story. Do you want me to tell my bird story?
Yeah. Do you want me to pull some cards first, or we want to do that after the bird story?
I think we should do that after the bird story, because
you want the bird story first.
I'm going to do something with inner child after we talk about that, and then have the activation with the inner child work.
Got it. Okay, let's do the bird story.
do the bird story. So a family member, I was at the hospital all day yesterday because he got surgery. And so I was lucky enough to have this brief moment of sunshine where we could eat outside in this Zen garden for lunch, right? Not because he was kind of recovering, but my mom and I. So we were sitting outside and these two little birds were hanging out with us and they just kept coming back. And so we were giving them crackers and everything. So then they were really coming back. And it was so adorable because they would fly away and then they would come back and the one bird who was a little bit bigger would feed the other bird. And this other bird who was sitting there just kept like flapping its wings like this, like crazy. And we thought that he was hurt, like looked like he was hurt. I thought, can he like not walk? Like what's going on with this dude? But it was adorable to watch him feed the other one.
Yes.
So what's interesting is that when the bigger bird would go away, the other one was fine. He'd eat. Happy little kid. Is this guy just like needy, right? Is he needy or is he like really, is he flirting? Like I thought maybe he's like in heat and he's like, you know, I want you. So I couldn't tell what was going on, but it was just so cute to watch this whole dynamic. So I took a video of it, of course. And I sent it to Rhonda Elliott because she's a Reiki master from the Akashic Academy and she's amazing. She knows everything about birds.
Yes.
So, and I said, what is going on with these birds? And so she said it was the baby bird begging behavior, that it was clearly a younger bird and that the mother was feeding this bird. But I said, what's so interesting is that when the mother bird goes away, this baby bird is like totally fine.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, nice and independent. And then mom comes back and he's like, oh,
help me.
Yeah. I'm like, so she said, yeah, he's like, they literally try to be cute. They try to be cute.
Oh.
They get what they want from the mom. They're like, please, 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 please. So I said, well, that's what my kids do. Like,
and husbands.
Oh, yeah. That happens.
And boyfriends.
Yeah. See?
Let's be real. Yeah.
Right. But I was like, isn't this so interesting that it so mimics human behavior? I'm like, we very clearly evolved from these animals, right? I was looking at it like we all came from the same source because we all have these tactics, these ways that we kind of get our needs met, right? In this world. Yeah. And what I thought was so cool was that, you know, we say when we're parents, like, I don't want to stifle their independence or I don't want to give too much and give in too much when they're needy. But this mom, every time she came in contact with the bird, she kept feeding it and she kept like showing it love and being so sweet to it. And I was like, see, eventually this bird is going to get big enough that it's going to say, I'm independent, I'm good, I'm out of here. Right.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So that showing that love and compassion is something that we really benefit from, that we don't have to shy away from showing that love and compassion because, you know, we're all going to grow up and do our own thing and move on in life. Right. Talking about bird tactics. But for me, I thought it was so interesting because it was happening at the same time that this family member was having surgery.
Yes.
So I was like, how interesting, because he has never had anything like this done. He's never had surgery. He's never had to experience any of this. So watching how he's struggling with, you know, I'm not as independent, you know, I'm independent and I have to ask to get my needs met. And I said to my mom, I was like, you know, I'm sure that it feels really good for him to be taken care of. I said, I remember when I was really sick.
Right.
Appreciates that care and that nurturing.
Right. Well,
you know,
when you were telling me this story, I was watching a Super Soul Sunday interview yesterday with Oprah and an author that you will love. She is a psychologist. Her name is Dr. Edith Eva Eger, and she's a Holocaust survivor herself. She is 91, and she wrote her very first book at age 90. So first thing that showed me was, and told me was, dude, I'm at a good pace here with what I've got going on. You know, should I be blessed with 90 years or more? I'm on a good trajectory there. So, hey, but she shared the story about when right before her and her family were captured, one of her sisters wasn't, but she had been learning ballet. So it was one of her dreams to perform the ballet in, a great hall in Hungary. She was in Budapest. So though that got derailed, of course, as we know, from Hitler's Europe and from the Holocaust. And so fast forward to having her granddaughter, and her granddaughter came out. Her granddaughter was born, and the doctor even said and pronounced about her granddaughter and said, it looks like she might be a ballet dancer. So that was kind of cool. She got very excited about that. So her granddaughter did indeed learn ballet and learn dance. And so her granddaughter had asked her to take her to get a dress. And she said, absolutely. They went, they shopped for the dress. It was beautiful, etc. They had a great time, a wonderful day. And then Dr. Edith got home and she said, I just started bawling. And she said, it felt like it came out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. And she said, of course, through years of therapy herself, going through therapy herself, and then becoming a therapist herself, she was naturally tuned in then and leaned into what was being communicated through that. Mm-hmm. And she shared with Oprah that was her inner child grieving the fact that she herself had never gotten to purchase a dress and be adorned and have her beautiful, ballet dance wherever that would have been, right? So she herself had never gotten to dance the ballet in a formal setting. So she was grieving that. And then Oprah shared a moment with watching her girlfriend at her house when her girlfriend and her daughter were visiting. And the daughter had asked for some strawberries. So the girlfriend was cutting up some strawberries for her and cut them into beautiful little flowers. Aww. And presented the strawberries to her daughter, like the bird, like the mama bird, picking up the pieces of cracker and handing it to the baby's mouth, right? And that beautiful moment of nurturing. So Oprah said, naturally, I was very touched and I was moved. And so I started to cry and thought, oh, this is a beautiful moment with my girlfriend. And it's wonderful. And I'm excited, right? Well, then reading the book from Dr. Edith, and Dr. Edith sharing her story about the dress, she then became aware of the deeper meaning of why she was crying. And to her, it became very clear that she was crying because she had never received that level of love and care and nurture, like you were saying, from her own mother. And, if anybody knows Oprah's story, her story is one of survival, right? Mm. And just the day-to-day living. And there wasn't a lot of, from her generation, from her mother's generation, there wasn't a lot of time for that fluff, for that, warm and fuzzy stuff, right? Yeah. So I just sat there and I bawled because how many of us are like that baby bird where we're, puffing up our wings and we're getting all happy. And like you said, you thought the bird was flirty at first, Yeah. And looking for, ways to be cute and, to be loved and held and valued, right? Mm-hmm. And oftentimes, there have been many memories where each of us have had where we weren't seen and we weren't valued and we weren't held and nurtured like we wish to be. So I think that's kind of becoming our conversation today, right?
Yeah. And I think, feeling like there's these expectations that we're adults and we're supposed to be like responsible and together and all of that. And, of course we are. We're so together. However, even we had friends over this weekend and we were all like hanging out with the kids and swimming in the pool. And then we had some food and we were all sitting around talking and there were perler beads on the table. Do you know what perler beads are?
No.
They're those teeny tiny little plastic beads that you put in they have like the little, they're not molds, they're like templates. And you put them on it and you make little pictures and then you iron them. They're like the fusible.
Oh, yeah. We had a different name for them here, but yeah, I know what you mean now.
Yeah, they're like those fusible beads, basically.
Yes, yes.
And so they were sitting in the middle of the table because my daughter had been doing them. And so the one of our friends, he's like 42 or something, grabbed them. And as we were talking, he just starts to make a lizard, right?
Oh, yeah.
And he gets like so focused. He's like, no, I want the colors exactly where I want the colors. And no, I don't want pink feet. And his wife's like, don't give him pink feet, give him purple feet.
Yeah.
You know? And so then I joined them and we were all like making this creative thing together. And, you know, those are the signs and the ways that we tune into that inner child part of us that is always there within each of us, that it takes bravery sometimes for us to be able to admit that we have that within us, because we are these, you know, we're adults and we're responsible and blah, blah, blah. But really having fun and joy and being able to just unabashedly say, I'm going to do perler beads at my friend's house, and I don't care that I'm 45 or 50 or how old I am.
Right.
And, you know, having that level of comfort to be able to do that, I think is the part of inner child work that is so productive. It's let's get ourselves, like get some of that stuff off the top so that we can get ourselves to a level of comfort to be able to embrace this part of us that we have at 95 and at age 1. I mean, we have it the whole time, and there's always a part of us that wants to be nurtured, no matter how old we are.
Well, and she even too was speaking about, again, you know, being older, and this was just a couple of years ago. So she's in her late 80s at that time, and she was walking in, I believe it was San Diego. She was going to lunch and she was walking on some cobblestones, and it completely transported her. This is the power shift of the mind, right? And you and I both know, and she spoke about this too, is that the dynamic is that often we are at and she'll ask her clients, what was the age of your trauma or of your upset, you know, because that gives an indication of, if it's left unhealed, an indication of where that person stopped growing mentally and emotionally, right?
100%. Yep.
Yes.
100%.
So she said walking on the cobblestones just transported her back to being in Auschwitz and walking through there, and it was on cobblestones, and hearing the sound of her feet on the cobblestones, and then hearing the sounds of being marched in front of villagers on their death march. She was part of the death march with a broken back.
Wow.
And but hearing the villagers scream out and call her pig and vile, and, you know, Juden, I think, was one of the vile names for Jews, right? And spitting at them and all of that. And she said, I immediately was transported to that age. And I think she was about, I want to say she was 13 or 14 when she was captured with her family. So
yeah, and I see that a lot in my work as a therapist too, is people will come in, you know, and they'll have certain issues on the table. And then what we realize, what I end up seeing over time, is that, you know, at whatever age they had a trauma, or whatever point in their life they had a trauma,
right.
Or location for that matter, once they resolve that and they kind of heal and they recover, very often they will then be at the level of maturity, understanding, emotional IQ, I guess, of where they were when that trauma occurred. So it's like, okay, well, now I'm healed. So now I'm going to come back to where I was then. And now I have to learn how to grow from there. You know, I find that
right
for me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, part figured out. Now I can kind of grow up a little bit from there. And I can do it at an accelerated pace because I've kind of wrapped that up and healed it. So it's not like, oh, well, now, you know, maybe if I was 12 when that happened, now I don't have to wait another, you know, 20 or something years to be able to get where I am now.
Right.
I accelerated, right? But I still have that maturing to do, because that connection between body and mind and emotional connections are all tied together.
Yes.
That trauma occurs because it gets encoded
yes.
cellularly and in the memories.
Yes. Absolutely. So we were kind of chatting too offline, and we were wanting to maybe get maybe some initial work around this, or share with people what they can do, or what session work would provide for them in talking about this. So let me pull a couple of cards.
Okay.
Kind of get some energy activated with this, and we'll go through some
Get
of
it
that.
going. Get it flowing.
Woo! Yeah, baby, bringing up the vibe. Because what are we doing?
We're high vibing.
High vibing with Ray and Laura. Okay. I love these cards. These are oh, there's my camera. I'm trying to show it on your side.
I know.
I'm trying to put it in front of your face. How come it's not in front of your face? Oh my gosh. Sacred geometry cards. Love them. It's one of my favorite decks.
Yeah, I love that one too. It's fabulous.
Yes. Okay, so the very first card, of course, is alchemy.
Beautiful.
Right? There we go. Okay, in front of my face. So alchemy activates our magical ability of remembrance of the magic that we all hold inside. Each one of us has that potential to access the ancient knowledge that allowed the true alchemist to perform the miracles of transmutation. So an alchemist is just something who takes the qualities of maybe many different things, matter, emotional, spiritual, whatever, right? And puts them all together, transmuting them, changing them, shifting them into something beautiful and wonderful, which is what we were just talking about, because you were mentioning how once you heal at a level that, a hook has kind of brought up for you and showed you this picture, once you heal at that level, then, like you said, you don't just then go from that age to the next age to the next age.
Right.
You're transported, maybe even to the next hook at times, or it's another hook that happened when you were in your 30s. So it dances around, right?
Yeah, and to understand that we're all alchemists, right?
Yeah.
Every single one of us is an alchemist. It's not like, oh, well, I'm an alchemist because I'm a Reiki practitioner.
Right.
You're an alchemist because you're a quantum healing practitioner. Right. We're all alchemists. We all have the ability to take this energy of whatever is given to us, whether it's this pen, to transform into written writing. Right. See, I don't know where my camera is.
I know. I'm telling you.
And that we have the power to transform our physical bodies in addition to our emotions, etc. Right. Into whatever we want, which is why we're high vibing to shift it, transmute it.
Transmuting, baby. Don't you think too that I like to say that I am a guide, really. I happen to work with different modalities, and they're tools in my tool belt, but I'm really just a guide who is maybe a little further along on the healing journey from somebody else or whatever. It doesn't matter. But as part of my healing journey and my service, then I've been able to kind of move through some things, but I still have stuff to move through, right? Don't you?
Right. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. You want me to start talking about that? But yeah, the reason that you got to this point is because there was somebody else who was before you, who was further along than you. And then there was somebody behind, and so that's what I love about this work and the community that you develop when you dive into it too, is that it's so like it takes a village mentality, right? Which is, the elders, the soul elders, right? The people who are a little bit further along are guiding the people who are not as much, but then we all kind of fall in together and help one another grow. And that's what's so beautiful about the work that we do, is that we're offering the service to others to say, listen, I've been there and I'm kind of hoping to help you so that it doesn't take you as long as it took me. Yeah. I can help you streamline this so that you're not like picking through all this, what do I do and how do I do it? And, and so that's
well, because even our own healing journeys have been a self-discovery process, right? And it's helpful, because we've had to kind of go through and just discover and find, right? So it is helpful to have people who can guide us along that way. So speaking of dynamic, this is our next card, is dynamic.
Oh, baby.
How cool is that? Not just to mention,
it looks like a clown hat. Well,
we kind of are clowning around. Hi, Vibin. We got a cool dynamic going here, sister.
We do.
We really do. Okay. We entertain each other.
Yes. Even if nobody else likes it.
Right? And, healing is laughter, or laughter is healing.
Yes.
And play. Hello. Okay. All right. So the frequency of dynamic supports our ability to harmonize between layers and aspects of different origin and frequency. It helps us to put together a reality that's made of different elements, familiar and completely new, with ease, grace, and joy.
Mm.
And then we have, what's all going to make it come together? And where's it going to live?
There's the love from the mama bird.
There's the love from the mama bird, the heart chakra. Woo! The frequency of the heart chakra, the green flower of life, supports our capacity to love deeply and unconditionally. Its healing properties harmonize the mind and the body. Yes. Awesome.
That's the beautiful part of the hot chakra. The hot chakra.
Hey, in certain parts of New York, don't they say it as the hot?
Oh, yeah. And for some reason, my youngest daughter has developed this very thick Bronx accent that we have no idea where she got it from.
We don't live anywhere near there.
Are we having a party? I'm like, where'd you get party? And, anyway.
Hot chakra party.
The hot chakra, all right?
What?
So, anyway, the beautiful thing about the heart chakra is that it's really that space that connects Mother Earth, which is below us, and the ether, which is above us, right? And it pulls those together.
Yes.
It's kind of that meeting point where that energy balances.
Yes.
And kind of it all distributes from that point throughout our physical body. So it's a very powerful space, which is why love and compassion and gratitude are techniques and tools that are so impactful, especially when we do them consistently.
Absolutely. And it's also the reservoir where our humanity, our human emotions sit, right? And then we are informed, spiritually inspired. And so we can exercise supernatural aspects of love too. Speaking of Dr. Edith, she was talking about how through her own therapy and her own inner child work, and she literally said it was inner child work, she said and spoke to the fact that it was divine love and divine forgiveness that allowed her and has allowed her to move beyond this and to recognize that, because people will ask her, well, where was God while you were there? And she said, he was with me. And she said, God didn't kill my family and didn't kill my other countrymen and women and children and the Jews that I am a part of. It was people who killed them, not God. So she held no blame for God after working through her anger and upset, right? And so then it informed her, and she actually treated one of the boys who was involved in the Waco event with the Koresh compound.
Wow.
And this kid was screaming at her because he had been programmed, right? And he was screaming and saying that it was his mission to kill the Jews and kill the black people, but he used an unfavorable term.
Correct.
Right? And she said in that moment, she was presented with that opportunity to show him love and non-judgment anyway, and recognize and realize that that was his program speaking. And that was what other people had put into his life and into his heart and into his mind. And one of the things she said was that her mom had told her as they were on the train riding to Auschwitz, her mom had said, remember, no one can touch what you have put in your mind. Powerful.
That's actually one of my favorite affirmations that goes off on my phone every day. I have many of them. One of them is that my thoughts and ideas are free from contamination. And I love that affirmation.
I love that. My thoughts and ideas.
And I developed that one. I think that was out of me worrying about what other people thought, or like, no, I think it was because I was listening to other people's opinions too much, you know, and I wanted to make decisions, you know what I mean? And so it's like, nobody can contaminate or take my thoughts and ideas from my head. Like, you know, I have choice there. I can choose what I integrate. I can choose what I let in. I can choose how to kind of transmute that from what's coming out of their mouths and what enters my brain and my heart, you know?
Yes. Amen.
But also that I love the idea that you said earlier about the heart chakra as a reservoir, because if we have that reservoir and something comes in that's unfavorable, we can almost use that reservoir similar to like the sacred waters of Mother Earth to transmute it in us.
Say that again, friend.
Oh, this is why us being together is so fabulous.
Oh my gosh. Spirit is speaking, folks.
Right.
Right? Okay, say that again.
Okay, so I have to remember what the hell I said. So I said that, right, with the heart chakra as a reservoir, if we view it as a reservoir and this information comes in from other people's mouths or from anything for that matter.
Yes.
Right, so that comes in, and then if we have trouble filtering that, or we think whatever's coming in is unfavorable, we have that reservoir to use, similar to the sacred waters of Mother Earth, to transmute whatever is coming in and then distribute it like, you know, to the vibration we've chosen to change it to throughout our bodies, throughout our energy field. Oh, I love that. It's like carrying a piece of Mother Earth with us. And that's why like the moon affects us and things like that, because it's all water energy, right? And
yes.
Oh, baby.
You and we need to do a class on the elements.
Yeah, because
we should do that before our class.
Yeah. We have a list of a lot of classes we want to do, Raelin.
Yeah.
It's going to take some time.
Collaboration, baby.
Collaboration.
Collaboration.
All right. So do you want me to guide people through just like a brief little, I can send some Reiki out to people's inner children.
Yes.
And give them a little bit of a taste of what this is about.
Yeah, let's tap into their inner children's.
All right. So I want everybody to just kind of, I'm not going to do this crazy long periods of time. So depending on where you are, you don't have to like, you know, go outside and lock yourself in your car if you're at work or something. But
I would advise against doing that, because I feel like the whole country is under like living on the sun. So let's not do it. So let's not lock ourselves in our cars.
So if you sit at your desk and you can't close your eyes, that's fine.
Yeah.
Some deep breaths, okay? Because that activates the parasympathetic nervous system and chills us out. All right.
State changes are powerful.
Yeah. So we're gonna take a deep breath in through our noses. Drop the shoulders, try to relax the tongue in your mouth, and release through your mouth, wringing out that air like you're wringing out a towel. Breathe in again. Releasing everything that's dense within your body, any heavy energy, negativity. I'm going to do one more of those to really set our physical bodies up for receiving. And you're allowed not comfortable for you. Find a pattern that keeps you relaxed and consistent and steady. I'm going to be sending out some Reiki energy to you guys. Understanding that Reiki energy is always going to go where it is needed in your mind, body, and energy field. Trusting that it will find where it needs to settle, where it needs to heal. Really focusing particularly on those sacral and solar plexus chakras, which are above and below your belly button. That place where the inner child could be curled up within you. Allowing yourself to see it bust out and come out of where it is, or is it comfortable snuggled up in there? Some inner children want to come out and play and dance, and some inner children want to come out and have a tantrum, scream and kick and cry. Some of them want to just be comforted. Come out and be comforted. Come out and hold your hands. I have one that wants to come out and hold my hand. I'm feeling an energy very warm that's kind of pushing out. So for the most part, I think that collectively, it feels like your inner children want to kind of come out, send that love out that they hold within, because they want that sense of belonging. They want that sense of connection, that sense of community that we were talking about a little bit ago.
Yeah, that's what everybody wants, really.
Yeah.
It's what we need.
Warmth and kind of embracing it within our heart chakra, putting your hands in your heart right now and just really breathing in the warm energy that's coming from that inner child space. Allowing us to feel that compassion for ourselves and sending that back within us to our inner children. Kind of like we're giving ourselves that internal hug. Feeling that reservoir in our heart chakra really start to warm, those waters warming. And as they warm, they gain energy, right? Because as we warm up water, those molecules speed up. They increase in ease and flow. So we see that happening as it warms in our heart chakra, and it just starts to spill out and trickle down and around our arms, our fingertips, our legs, all throughout our body, and just spreading that love and compassion. That's really what I'm getting generally and collectively from the inner children today, is just sharing the love. They want belonging. They want connection. They want to hold hands in a circle. So I want everybody to take just a deep breath in while your hands are still on your heart chakra. Just really dispersing this energy within your physical body. You hold at the top, and then try to breathe in a little bit more, expanding this compassion center of our heart chakra, and then sending this love out on our out breath, outside of ourselves, sharing it with one another in this space and within our lives. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that.
Sure. Just a quick little meditation, just to that was just like a tuning in.
Yeah.
You know, in the individual work, I can really, I really get messages from that specific person's inner child, and they have conversations with me, and we'll go on little journeys together, and there's a lot that can be learned from that. But collectively, I was just feeling this really radiating, pushing out, warm energy.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, working with, doing the one-on-one session work is really powerful. And it can be extremely meaningful, and it is always very intuitive, right? Mm-hmm. Especially within the work that we do and the space that we hold for our clients, and that sort of thing. Talking about this inner child work too, you and I both are going to be attending a retreat in Sedona in November.
Yep.
With the Wellness Universe. And I'll put in a link here for that retreat, and I'm going to be talking about getting in touch with our inner child and taking us through some of these techniques, some of the ways that we can access and we can explore, and then how we can help the soothing and healing process with our inner child work. So it's awesome.
Do you have any ideas in terms of like journal prompts or something? Like if we gave people a journal prompt today that they could write on to, I guess, tune in with your inner child.
Right.
And too, but I thought maybe you'd have something on the top of your head since you're the journal queen.
Yeah. Oh, thank you very much. Yes. In fact, I'm developing some cards, and let me find that. I'm developing some cards that I'm going to be bringing with me that have that on there. And I have powerful questions of what we can do with accessing our inner child work. So let me find that. I knew you were going to ask me that too. You would.
I would, right? I'm such a pain in the ass. Well, I actually, I posted something on my page yesterday.
Yes.
From that TED Talk. I don't know if you saw that, but it was from a TED Talk that I thought was, he was talking about like people at end of life and kind of what they see and stuff like that. But
yes,
a few questions that he brought out of it that I thought was so cool. And this is what he said. He said, looking back on your own life, what is your greatest loss? What is your greatest comfort? And what is your greatest wonder? And I actually think that those journal prompts in particular are super helpful for accessing your inner child. Because when we have loss or trauma or something in our lives, our inner child feels that. Our inner child feels wounded. If we are, not grieving appropriately or caring for ourselves enough or offering that compassion, or if we're, missing something that we might not even know we need in that moment, right? Especially in those crisis moments. And then what is your greatest comfort, right? When we do inner child work, we obviously provide comfort and love to ourselves, to the inner child, after we kind of assess what it is that inner child needs, right? Yes. And what is your greatest wonder? Wonder is one of my favorite words on the planet. And I think it's just, it really does tap into that energy of joy and awe that I think we can all benefit from. It keeps us humble. It keeps us in that mindset of, there's something greater than me that I'm looking to think, wow, I'm going to try to get creative to figure out how do I do X, Y, and Z, or how do I make myself feel this way? Helps us look forward, and it helps us tap into creativity, which is so powerful. Helps us expand our intuition, helps us tap into our inner child. So those would be what I would recommend. And you guys, if you haven't liked my page, Emerge Healing and Wellness, check it out, because I just put that post on there yesterday or today. I can't remember when.
Yeah, I think it was yesterday.
From that TEDx talk, looking back on your own life, what is your greatest loss? What is your greatest comfort? What is your greatest wonder? Because that can just help you. Honestly, that's like a tuning in exercise. Like, what's going on with my inner child? Is my inner child impacted by a loss? No, not really. Okay. What's its greatest comfort? Helps you know yourself better. What is it that you need?
Yes. Oh my gosh, I can't find the.
You don't have to. I just found one. See, I figured it out.
Yeah. Shoot. So this came up though. I do have a tapping script that I'm using as part of my presentation. And here's a great thing that was written by a gal named Jade Barbie. And she said, "You are doing the best that you know how to do. Even when you make mistakes, you're not doing anything wrong. There is nothing wrong with you." And then Margaret Lynch said, "I see you, I honor you. I honor how hard it was for you and all of the things you wanted but could not get. I am open to hearing exactly what you still need today and learning how to ask for that need to be met in my life right now. And in this present moment, I see and honor the beautifully unique and brilliant qualities you have, but learn to keep hidden because it was not safe. I give you permission to totally shine right now with me because I love you and I understand."
That's beautiful.
A powerful one. Yeah.
Yeah. And she also brings up the concept of safety, which I like, because that's why I personally think it's so helpful to do this inner child work with someone. Even, it doesn't have to be a practitioner, it can be anybody, but just because you do want to feel safe. And obviously you can feel safe on your own by grounding yourself and securing yourself in your body and making sure that, you know that you're not
Yes, that's huge. That
beautiful.
That we're not reliving.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It is huge that we're not reliving things, and that we understand too that we're not that individual. We're not that little girl. We're not that little boy any longer. But that little boy or that little girl has information to share with us that is informing us as to why we're feeling the way that we do, or what our body is reacting to in that moment too, whether it's through crying or whether it's through feeling great amounts of anxiety or withdrawing, that sort of thing. All of that kind of stuff I can remember, if I'm going to get personal, I can remember being at my aunt, her house, so my cousin's house. It was a couple summers ago, and it was her brother that was my violator with my sexual abuse and that sort of thing. And so, but I dearly loved my aunt and my uncle, her husband. So we were at my cousin's house, and my cousin's husband was sitting on like a patio deck kind of sofa thing with his daughter, and they had a blanket or a towel, and he pulled it up over both of their heads. And so they were both covered under this blanket. And I looked over and I watched it as it happened. I watched him do that, and I just screamed out, expletives. Mm-hmm. And I said, I cannot effing believe this. That is unacceptable. And I flipped out. I jumped up from where I was sitting and I ran into the house. And I think everybody just stopped. And my husband and my aunt initially was like, oh my gosh, is she okay? And my husband immediately told them she's having a flashback. And this is part of, what's going on with her. And this is, some traumatic stuff that has, right? So they gave me a moment, and I was inside, and I just remember telling myself, I just remember recognizing and realizing where this was coming up from, because I caught an awareness of the exact memory.
Right.
And then I remember telling that child self as me, you are fine. You are safe. I'm here with you. I'm holding you. Mm-hmm. You're absolutely okay. And we're going to get through this together. And I just stood there, and I was literally had my hands on my chest, and I was just rocking myself like I would a child in my arms, just rocking that child.
Yeah. And I think for people who feel weird about doing that, or who don't really know how to, I mean, if you have children, that's one way to easily figure out what that feels like. Like this weekend with my daughter, she was struggling with a couple of things, and, mm-hmm. Just reminding her, holding her face and looking in her eyes and saying, you are safe.
Yes.
You are loved. You are okay. You are here with you. You are safe. And I think that by doing that with her, mm-hmm. it heals me as well. It heals all of us.
Yes.
But I think that it also teaches me and us as adults how to do that for ourselves. Going like this for myself and looking in the mirror and saying, you are safe. You are okay.
Yes.
It might feel silly, but, I'd rather feel silly than traumatized,
Exactly. And, with the messages we receive from the world, from our parents, from our family, those around us, is that, when you're an adult, life is great and wonderful, or supposedly, right? And we're responsible, and we have free agency, and we can control our lives and all of this stuff. And so we are taught that those childish ways get left behind. Mm-hmm. But the truth of the matter is they don't, if they're not healed.
Right.
they follow us and they inform our outbursts.
Yep.
And they inform our behaviors. They inform our relationships and our interactions with people and even our friendships and the collective interactions there. If we've had a chaotic, dramatic childhood, we're going to likely bring that into the future with us. And we're going to have chaotic, dramatic relationships with people. Unless and until we witness that, recognize it, and sit in it and heal it. Right?
Right. Yeah. And I think that it's important to highlight too that, you know, we're not sitting in it, meaning like for a long period of time where we just like marinate and absorb, right? You sit in it enough to kind of feel it, right? You sit in it like if you picture yourself sitting in liquid or like a thick liquid, right? You feel it on your skin, but at the point that you start to feel it on your skin, like when you're in the bathtub and your fingers start to get wrinkly, you know, before your fingers start to get wrinkly, you know, you've been absorbing, you know, you jump out and you say, okay, I allowed myself to sit in that for a minute.
Yes.
Now I'm going to come out and I'm going to implement this and integrate it and give yourself time and space to integrate whatever it is you just allowed yourself to feel. Because I think a lot of people avoid this work because they're afraid of that. I don't want to sit in this. I don't want to feel like crap, you know, like why do that? Well, you know, sometimes we have to sit in those feelings, you know, to be able to heal them and to transmute them into something else. In fact, Holly just mentioned on here, she said, I've seen a psychiatrist and he's told me we all have some inner children that can cause us trouble. Sad, mad, dependent, scared, opposition, defiant, bad, and sick. He's explained it as if you forget to take care of one or even more of those, it can end up causing you problems.
Yep.
And that's exactly what you were just talking about, Raelin.
Yeah. And this was a memory that, so I was 48, 47 at the time. This was a memory that I had when I was about 7 or 8 years old. And so, you know, we're talking almost 50 years.
Yeah.
And this transported me to that exact moment.
Yeah.
That's the power that these memories have. And Holly, thank you for sharing your vulnerability and your truth, saying it's scary to sit in that. It can be briefly, but when we hold the awareness of understanding that we are not in that moment, it's simply a memory that's come up, communicating and saying, just like this card, hey, look at me and pay attention to what's on this card. Read this card, read me, read the situation, read what happened to me, witness that, see it, hear it, and take it and hold it and comfort it, and then transmute it into something that's going to help us.
Right. And I think that's why, you know, for me, and I love serving this role for other people as well as a therapist, that any therapist that I've been to that I've really loved has usually been like an older woman who, you know, is able to sit there and kind of be maternal towards me a little bit. Right. So like when I'm in that moment and I'm like, and you know, it's all, I'm sitting in it and I'm feeling it, it's all coming out. She's like, it's, you know, it's okay. Let it out. You know, you're good. And, you know, being really compassionate and comforting, because until you learn how to do that for yourself, you need to be in a space of receiving from someone else. And I think getting to know, okay, when I'm in this space, this is what I do, right? I'm starting to pattern myself around what these other people are doing for me. And they can serve that temporary supportive role. But that's what I love about this energy and spiritual work, is that you can access it yourself at any time. You don't have to go to a therapy office. You don't have to be face to face with somebody. Once you learn it and you learn the pattern and you get used to it over a period of time, working with a practitioner for a little bit or whatever it is, then you've got it. You know, you've got it, and you can tap in, and you become more resilient, because then when you get knocked down, that memory that you've patterned becomes more automatic.
Well, yeah, and we have then that we have the knowledge and awareness that we've got something. Oh, let me go get this item. You know, as it were. Let me take these tools and techniques that I've learned, and I can sit with that and use it. You know, like I'm playing a card game or whatever. Right? I have something in my in my possession that can enable me and help me to get beyond this.
Yeah.
Some traction and some healing. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I want to put out there, you know, I don't know if you guys, if anybody who has joined later on, if you didn't hear like the journal prompts that we shared earlier, or were able to catch the inner child meditation that we did, you know, the journal prompts that we shared, I will find really quickly here so I can remind you what they are. And please feel free to, did that trigger anything in you? Did it questions of us while you have us for a few more minutes? But it was the post I had put on my page yesterday. Looking back on your life, what is your greatest loss? What is your greatest comfort? And what is your greatest wonder? You can answer one or all three or two out of three or whatever of those questions, but to really access that part of you that is a little bit more vulnerable, you know, that is not necessarily on the surface, to help you tap into getting to know yourself a little bit better, understanding your inner child a little bit more.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. You posted them. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Went ahead and shared them.
Or if you guys feel like you need healing right now in an area that, you know, one of the reasons that I dive into inner child work is people who are like, well, I'm emotional. It's kind of like what Raelin was talking about earlier, that story she was telling about the woman who just started to sob and didn't know why she was sobbing.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like that when you feel like, well, I feel like crap, but I don't know why, or I feel really sad and I don't know why, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And being able to get into the depth of that. And it doesn't mean you have to analyze it every time you're upset, okay? Like, I don't want to make it sound like that, because then you're just going to be annoyed with yourself. But when, again, 3 times makes a pattern. So when you get into that pattern of, okay, this is the 3rd time this has come up for me and I can't kick it, it's pissing me off, right? Or whatever, that you sit down and then you think, all right, how do I get under this?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
or like in the experience that I had too, it was so out of the blue. It's so out of my character. I don't act like that. That's not
correct. Yes.
So if it's a jarring situation where you just go, bam, you know, yeah, that's a whoa, buddy, take notice of this. Yeah, yes. For sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Love that. Love that. Yeah. Because there is, you know, I'm also reading, or I'm getting ready to start. I have Carolyn Miss's book.
Oh yeah.
On why people don't heal and how they can, which is a huge message for everyone. You know, how many times have you and I both had people reach out to us and said, "Oh, I'm really interested, and you know, what do you offer?" And, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And then when it comes down to committing to the process, they're like, no, I don't. They'll use finances as the reason, right? Or they'll use their time commitment. Oh, well, I don't really have, you know, time in my day, right? Which is just ways to say, I'm
not ready yet, or I'm not choosing this yet.
Yeah, I dipped my toe in. Oh, no, I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was speaking to somebody the other day about a coach that I'm wanting to work with too, and I said I'm like 85% in and wanting to do this, and then there's 15% of me that says, "Oh shit, I know this is gonna suck," you know, because I know that there's a few things that I really want and need to change. Yeah, that I'm like, this is the stuff that, like, I mean, I've been healing for a long time, and
right. I wanted
keeping me stuck, you know, and so, but it's being able to, and sometimes I find that helpful actually, to use that scale of like 1 to 100% or 0 to 100%. Like, where are you? Because that actually helped me realize, oh, I'm like 85% in. Obviously, I should do this for myself. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because we're always going to have that hesitation or that resistance.
Yep. Yeah. I wanted to share too, really quickly, if we had time, those 4 questions too from Byron Katie that we love. Oh, sure. You and I have worked with those a lot.
I love her. She's so transformative.
Oh, yes. And I'll put the link on there for people to check her out too. She really is.
Yeah, because you can download all of her questions and worksheets and stuff for free from her website.
Yep.
And it's awesome. Yeah. She's really productive to get to the bottom of things.
Exactly. And so one thing that she shares, her book on A Mind at Home with Itself is a powerful book. Maybe if you could type that into the comments, A Mind at Home with Itself, that'd be great.
I'm going to do that right now.
Thank you. Just so I can get to the question.
Yeah, go for it.
So what she talks about in there is the whole premise is that our suffering happens between these 2 points, right? And it's all located in our mind. And it's holding on to those beliefs, holding on to those patterns, holding on to maybe the thought track or the talk track that people said about you or said to you, and that you accepted then and believed and retained, and you keep that stuff rolling in your head. So she says that with awareness, we can start to question those things. And so as this stuff comes up for your inner child, you can start to question and get curious. So the first question is to ask, is it true? And then the answer is a yes or no. It's a yes or no. It's not a, no, it's a yes or no, right? Is it true? The next question then that you go to is, can I absolutely know that it's true? Like 100%, can I absolutely know it's true? Yes or no again. And then it goes to, how do you react and what happens when you believe that thought? So whatever that thought that you're questioning, say for me, my thought was, that is inappropriate behavior for a father to be doing with his daughter. So is that true? I, in that moment, said, hell yes. Next, can I know that to be 100% true? Well, in my context of where my head was at, sure as shit. Yeah. Because of what was going on. But in that context, it was a father sitting on a sofa outside with his daughter, who they had a great relationship with. Nothing inappropriate had ever occurred. And he was simply just goofing off, and they were throwing a blanket over themselves. Yep. So can I know it's absolutely 100% true? So the answer would be no then. Right. So then how do I react, and what happens when I believe the thought that is inappropriate for that father and that daughter in their relationship? Well, I got really tight. I got knots in my stomach. I got really tight in my chest. My throat closed up. My hands were clenched, and I was wanting to kick the shit and beat the shit out of something. Right. Or someone. Yep. So then the very next question, the last question is, who would you be without that thought? So then, wow, without having that thought that this is an inappropriate situation and I'm threatened in that moment, who am I without that thought? I would literally be myself sitting in my cousin's backyard, laying on her lounger and getting some sun and enjoying my time with my family. Exactly. And that's as easy yet as complicated, right, as this can get.
Yeah, and since I've practiced this journaling sequence a lot, I've got to the point where now, even going through my day, right, I'll run into something and then I'll just say to myself, I mean, not physically run into something, although I do run into things a lot, but me too. I smack into walls and my kids and whatever. But, I'll run into something where I'll be like, what was the third question? See, I forgot it already. Oh,
the third question is, how do you react?
Right.
What happens when you believe the thought?
What happens when I believe that thought? Thank you. I knew it started with it. So what happens when I believe that thought? And so I'll just remind myself of that. And I'm like, wait, I don't like what happens when I believe that thought. And I don't know for sure that's true. Right. And so I just kind of use that as a cue to kind of check myself. It's like a checks and balances as well. Once you practice this enough. And that's why self-discipline, I think I put a meme up at one point on my Instagram or something that was like self-discipline equals self-love, and I so agree with that, because the more disciplined we are, the more this stuff becomes automatic for us. And then we don't have to work at self-love. We don't have to put effort into it, because if we practice in the beginning, then it, just kind of comes naturally, and
Yeah.
it's become this project that we have to secure energy for, or like see if I have energy for.
Yes, 100%. And yeah, at the front end, there is work to be done. And at the front end, it can feel like and be very all-consuming at times. And I remember my therapy journey. It was a year and a half, almost 2-year process.
Yeah.
And this was full-on therapy, but I didn't pursue that until I was about 47 years old. It took me that long to get to that point. And so there was a lot of stuff that happened in between then too that I had to go through. But they were all opportunities for me to heal. And like Pema Chodron says, what we persist resists.
Yeah.
Or sorry, what we resist persists.
Yes.
Yeah. What we resist persists until it's healed.
Yep.
And then literally I remember coming to the end of therapy, and Ho'oponopono was critical with that. And I thought, okay, well, it's just 4 statements. I'm just going to keep saying these 4 statements, right? And it freaking works. And the shift that happened within me, I was able to fully release, let go of all of that. And really, it had just been, I had been imprisoned inside of myself.
Correct.
And man, so powerful. And that is when the shift changed, when the turnaround changed, and when everything started flowing and opening up from there.
See, there you go. That's what I was just thinking too. You were able to really rest in and swim in that reservoir in your heart space that we were talking about. And that's why it starts to flow.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of mixing up those waters a little bit. You're letting them kind of come into waves and flow outside of you and within you.
Yes. Isn't that beautiful? I was able to swim in that reservoir of my heart space.
Yeah.
We need to do a meme on that, my friend.
Probably. We're probably going to have to do that. Yeah.
Yes. But it's so very true. And then literally it was, I want to say it was 2 weeks later, you and I met.
Oh.
In our blueprint for successful mind class. Yeah. That's when you and I met.
Yeah.
Because 2 weeks prior to that was my final session with my therapist. Well, the final meaty part of the session, I went and saw her the following month, and I said, my time has ended with you last month, didn't it? And she goes, yeah, just waiting for you to realize that. And I was like, dude, this is crazy.
Exactly.
And it literally was like, that switch had been shut off. And we're done. We're good. Our work here is done. And you could feel that. It was incredible. But you know what? That's what is so exciting for us, right? In holding the space for other people and guiding them through their healing journey. Yeah. Right?
And what I was going to say too is just as what you resist persists, that it'll keep kind of knocking on your door until you heal it and clear it. What I love is that our intuition is the same.
Oh, yes.
So that our intuition, which is a very positive, encouraging, empowering strength we all have,
yes,
also is going to persist until we listen to it. And it will get stronger and persist even more if you listen to it. Like because if you open yourself up to that receiving, then that intuition is going to keep knocking on your door. And then you'll listen to that and give you that strength and power to clear and heal. So I love that we have that tool. So it's not like we're set up to, okay, well, if we ignore this, then it's going to keep coming back and then you're doomed. Well, no, because we have the tools within us as well to be able to transmute this, to be able to guide ourselves, to learn from ourselves, and to educate ourselves about our own human experience and soul experience on Earth. So,
and from what I'm learning and realizing and moving into is that is the purpose right there. That's why I say There's nothing outside of us that's the purpose. We are the purpose.
Yeah.
And it's exactly whatever shows up for us and how it shows up for us, and enables us then to communicate with it and move beyond it and allow these powerful shifts and transmutations of those situations in our life. It's the way that Viktor Frankl could write the book, Man's Search for Meaning.
Yeah.
Right. And Dr. Edith, how she could share her story, her horrific trauma.
Yeah.
And she even said there too that there is no comparison of traumas. There's no hierarchy of trauma.
Yeah.
Right. But it's how you went through what you went through in your childhood and within your relationships, and how you've been able to shift and move beyond it. And now it's the work that informs what you do. Mm-hmm. You are what you do. You've embodied that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we recognize and realize that the purpose is in us. Yeah. I just received a channeled message last night about alignment, and it talks about that. So maybe next week we can talk about that, right? What's that?
You did a video on that?
Yeah, a video on not necessarily the alignment piece, another part of the channeled message. By the way, it's 11:11 here.
I know, we gotta go soon.
Yeah,
we gotta go soon.
Yes, but I do want to maybe talk next week about alignment. Maybe we can do that. Yeah,
and some clarity, because I got some. Ooh, yeah. There you go. Because I got such good stuff that I can guide people through on that clarity written by Laura DeFranco.
Yes.
Freaking awesome. And guys, Raelin put a lot of these questions and things we've talked about in the chat. So I encourage you to return to these. And Raelin, could you post a picture of those 3 activation cards that you pulled as well?
Yes.
So that way people can use those as journal prompts to kind of do some work on this stuff for themselves. Please feel free to post any questions that come up for those, or even message us privately if it's something that you don't want to share with other people that might have been coming up for you, any experiences or stories or memories or even feelings you have either emotionally or in your body as we've been having this conversation, because those are the kinds of things to tune into. Those are keys and those are cues from your intuition to tell you what it is that you might want to focus on, or steps to move forward for yourself to be your best self. And I know that for me, I'm just going to talk about a couple things coming up in my community this week before we jump off, and then I'll offer you to do the same.
Yep.
That Thursday, I have a show at, I don't even know what today is, to be honest.
Today's Tuesday.
So Thursday, I have a show at 1:00 Eastern time. I have Laura McPhee joining me on Live with Laura. And she's an awesome theta healer who really empowers women. And she does a lot of sexual healing and work around money, mindset, and abundance. And she's just such a loving and beautiful soul. So I'm eager to have her on. So if you want to join us for that. And then on Sunday, I have my meditation circle that meets at 8 p.m. via Zoom, which means that we're all face-to-face. And I've posted journal prompts in there for that. And everybody kind of responds to those journal prompts. And I put them all together into a collective meditation that is insanely powerful.
It is.
Tapping to release any negativity before the meditation. Then we do the meditation. And then after the meditation, we chat about what's kind of come through or come up. And if I need to send Reiki to people, or we need to assist each other in healing or in expanding our awareness, we do that. And it's just, last time was just crazy powerful.
Yep.
So those are my happenings. What about you, Healing Space? What's going on?
Oh, thanks, sister. So Thursday I have a show with my wonderful and dear, twin birthday friend. We literally share the same birthday, she and I, and we're 10 years apart. So we're incredibly aligned that way. Her name is Catherine Paz, and she goes by Kat. She is a beautifully talented pianist who operates out of the Denver area, but travels too as well. And so we're going to be talking about how she has healed through music, and how her music is offering healing and raising the vibration around those who are with her and near her. So that'll be on Raise Your Vibration with Raelin at noon Mountain Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern. And Then I have a class. Well, I have Journaling Junkies group on Sundays. We're going through the book Radical Forgiveness. It's a powerful book, right? You're in there. It's
God, yeah.
amazing. Yep. And so if anybody's interested in that, there's still time to join. And it's a real deep dive into.
But it's a good one, and we're all processing it together, so it feels a little more comfy because we're doing it together.
It does, and we support each other's energy and witness in all of it. So it really is an amazing space.
Well, and don't forget that you have intermediate intuitive development on Thursday night at 9 o'clock.
Yes.
Well, it's 9 o'clock my time, but it's 6 p.m. your time. Yeah. But, you know, Raelin has different intuitive courses that she offers. Right now, they're kind of in process. So the next phase will be coming up soon. But where we're just, you know, practicing and learning how to expand our ability to read energy and expand our intuition, blah, 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 blah.
Yes. Yep. I have a beginner's course connecting through the chakras, and then the intermediate course. And then I do have a course that's being developed on archetypes, which goes hand in hand with what we talked about today. It's talking about the archetypes of the victim, the inner child, the prostitute, and the saboteur. So which all of us can relate to. And archetypes are just themes, spiritual themes that kind of roll through our life and show us and inform us of those opportunities for greater understanding, awareness, and healing.
And they're Jungian archetypes from Carl Jung. Raelin didn't just throw the prostitute in there for fun because she wants to be a prostitute.
Well,
I just wanted to put that out there.
You did say I was looking sexy today.
I did say you were looking hot today. I did.
From the hot.
Hot from the hot.
Hot from the hot.
All right, friends. So go take a swim in your heart chakra, all right? And have a fabulous day. Thanks for joining us. We're going to be on every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. And if there's anything that comes up that you want to chat about or ask about, feel free to send it our way. Send us a PM, post it underneath the comments, because we are up for anything that's going to bring our vibe higher.
Hi, Vibin.
All right.
Love you, everybody.
Love you, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.